Are you ready then?
Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm good.
What's your name?
My name is Justine McPherson.
Justine. Nice to meet you, Justine. I'm Julia. I'm going to be your student nurse today. Basically, what I'd like to do is ask you a few questions to get an idea about your current state of health, your health goals, what your main concerns are, then do a little focused assessment from there, a little bit of health teaching with some strategies of what you can take home. And all that should take about 20 minutes. Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful. We'll get started then. So you said your name was Justine, is that correct? Justine. Do you live or work in the area, Justine?
Yeah, I'm the CFO here at Shell.
And how old are you?
I'm 55.
Do you have a partner or significant other?
Yeah, I've been married to my husband Stu for 35 years.
Wow, congratulations. And do you have an ethnicity that you identify with?
You know, we're Canadian.
Canadian. Were you born in Canada?
Yeah.
And you said you're the CFO here at Shell.
Mm-hmm.
That must be a stressful job.
It's a very stressful job, especially these days.
Yeah, lots
With
of
the oil
responsibilities.
prices dropping and all the layoffs and
Oh, wow. That's a lot to manage.
it is.
And you're Canadian, do you speak English at home?
Yeah.
Any other languages?
No, my kids did some French in school, but
That's about it
that's
for French.
about it. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have any kids at all, Justine?
Yeah, I have 3 kids. So I have my oldest is a son, and he's married, and he has a couple of children. And then I have a daughter who's traveling right now. We hardly see her because she's so busy traveling. And then I have my youngest son, who's 24 years old and living in my basement. So he's finishing his education, and I'm really then hoping he's going to move on because I would really like him in my basement.
Well, it's nice that you're able to help him out through that, though.
Yeah, I'm afraid he might stay there. So,
Fingers crossed.
so I'm really hoping for the empty nest.
Perfect. I just want to ask you a few questions about your past health.
Okay.
Have you had any childhood illnesses, like chickenpox, measles?
I remember the chicken pox, but I don't really remember any other. I know my mom was a nurse, so I know I was vaccinated, but I don't know for what. I just know they were all done.
Okay, so probably up to date on immunizations. And have you had any recently?
No.
No. What about the flu shot? Do you get the flu
Oh,
shot?
I don't get that.
Have you had any previous accidents or injuries?
No,
Okay.
not
And-
really. Just, aches and pains once in a while.
Yeah, nothing that you've been hospitalized
No.
for? Any
Just hospitalized when I had my kids.
And any surgeries?
No.
When was the last time you went to see your doctor?
About 3 months ago, I was getting my pills reordered.
Okay, do you see him or her on a regular basis?
About every 3 months right now,
Okay.
because we're just making sure that that's the dose he wants me on.
And do you know what medications you're on?
Yeah, I'm on Lipitor, which I don't know what that does, but and then I'm on 2 blood pressure meds. So one is called Norvasc, and one is hydrochloric diazide and something. But I know those 2 are for my blood pressure. I have a list in my purse, so.
Oh, perfect. And you said you weren't too sure why you were taking Lipitor, so at the end of our interview I can look that up and let you know.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay. And when was the last time you saw your dentist?
6 months ago. I just got the reminder for the cleaning on my email the other day, so.
Those are handy.
Mhm.
Have you seen your optometrist for eye checkups lately?
I see him every year.
And do you ever get your hearing checked?
I haven't had to yet.
Hopefully it continues that way for a little while yet. And do you have any allergies?
No.
Perfect. Now I have some questions about your daily life. Do you have any troubles getting around, going upstairs, anything like that?
No, I just find when I've gotten older, I kind of have more cracks and crunches, but but other than that, no.
Perfect. So you're still able to do
Yep.
it even though you can kind of feel those in your joints. What do you do during your free time to unwind?
I don't have a lot of free time.
Fair.
So usually it's when I come home from work, I have a couple of glasses of wine. On the weekends, Stu and I try to go for a walk.
Excellent. How far roughly do you walk?
Oh, like half an hour.
And do you do that every weekend?
If the weather's good, yeah.
Lovely. Do you do any other type of exercises at all?
No, not really.
Walking is really good for you though. That's excellent. In terms of rest and sleep, how much sleep do you get at night?
I get about 6 or 7 hours.
Do you feel rested when you wake up?
Sometimes it depends how busy the week's been, right?
fair
And what's really, there's a lot of stress, and can I turn off my brain to do that?
Do you have like a bedtime routine that helps you kind of shut down at the end of the night?
Yeah, I found that the amount of coffee I drink impacts the bed, when I can go to sleep. So I've been really trying to watch that coffee intake after 6, and then trying to, after I watch the news, read a book or something to, just quiet my brain.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. Excellent. And now you mentioned your coffee intake. I'm just curious, over the last 24 hours, what else do you typically eat?
Well, I usually in the car coming into work in the morning, I have like an oatmeal to go bar type thing.
Okay.
And coffee. And then lunch is mostly eating out for meetings, or food gets brought in. And then Stu and I tend to go out for dinner quite a bit, or Stu cooks because he's home first. But we do eat out a lot.
Okay. So would you say your coffee intake, do you just have the one coffee a day?
No, I have about 6 or 8.
6 or 8. That is a little bit on the higher side, so maybe we can talk about different strategies to limit that down too. How do you cope with your stress? Sounds like you've got a very stressful job. There's probably a lot of things you need to manage.
There is. I find the 2 glasses of wine when I get home just really, and I have to say I smoke. So if it's a really stressful week, I know that I smoke more. And yeah, that's...
Do you notice that you have 2 glasses of wine every day, or is it stressful days?
If it's a really stressful day, it's 2 or 3. If it's just a regular day, it's just 1 when I get home type thing.
Okay. And then your smoking with stress, does it only happen on stressful days, or?
So I smoke about 3 cigarettes a day,
Okay.
but when I'm really stressed, it can be up to 6. Or I kind of use it as a break that I have to walk downstairs from the building and not
To get out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we can talk about different strategies to kind of have a break from work that might be more beneficial than having a cigarette, but we can talk about that. In terms of your safety, do you feel safe at work,
Oh yeah, yeah.
at home in your neighborhood?
I live in a rural neighborhood,
Okay.
so we all have each other's phone numbers, and we have like a neighborhood watch. But one of the reasons I don't like to walk at night is because there's a lot of wildlife out there, and not a lot of light. So
Right, so that limits your walks to only
Yeah.
weekends then? Just the daylight?
yeah,
Okay.
it's better in the summer, right?
Yeah. So do you do much walking in the winter at all?
No.
And in Calgary, the winter seems to be so long. In terms of your job, can you describe a little bit more about what a day is like for you?
First thing in the morning, I have a meeting with the chief executive officer, and we sort of, look at what the markets have done, look at what, the bottom line is, the layoffs. I mean, we're on our 4th round of layoffs right now.
Yeah.
And these people were really, really good people who I know need those jobs. So that's really, really stressful.
I bet.
Yeah.
So you manage stress in a few different ways you were mentioning, with having a few glasses of wine at the end of the day and with your smoking and leaving the office.
Mhm.
Do you ever find that there's other strategies that you use throughout the day when you're at work?
I kind of just turn off. So I'll shut my door and just
Have a few moments.
have a few moments if things are really stressful.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being an extreme amount of stress that is unbearable and one being very minimal, easy to manage stress. How stressful would you say your days are typically?
Right now, they're like a 7 or an 8.
And is that usual or is that just currently?
That's since the recession's, really hit the oil patch.
Yeah.
So,
So at least a month or two, at least,
yeah, it's been about the last year. It's started going down.
the last year.
So,
Okay. For coping with stress, sometimes people use different spiritual or religious affiliations. Do you use any spiritual or religious organizations as a means for coping?
no, not really. I've been I've been looking into that mindfulness thing. I don't really understand it, but I have a friend who says it really helps her with her stress, so.
Maybe we can talk about that at the end as well. That's a really interesting strategy. Do you have any cultural affiliations?
No.
Any cultural or religious practices that you keep up on a regular basis?
Just the sort of the normal holidays that everybody has.
Okay. Do you get to spend time with family at those times?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a good kind of stress, even though it might be a bit of stress as well. And the last few questions are just kind of your beliefs around health. So what does health mean to you?
I think it's about physical, but also mental health, and what I need to do to make sure those are both well.
Excellent. How do you view your own health right now?
Well, since I'm on 3 medications and I know smoking's bad for me, I don't think it's probably very good.
And do you have any health concerns that you want to focus in on? You kind of mentioned.
I'd really like to get off these medications, or at least get them down to the lowest I can. Learning ways how I could do that would be really beneficial and helpful.
Okay. And do you have any other goals other than decreasing your medications?
I guess managing the stress.
So I think those are really great goals that you've honed in on. And we can talk about some different strategies and different tools that I have for you that can help go from there. Since you mentioned blood pressure, is it okay if I take your blood pressure?
Yeah,
just
sure.
kind of as an assessment?
I'm just
So I'll
going to
need-
slide my arm out. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm just going to clean my equipment and get a few things ready here. Does high blood pressure run in your family at all?
Yeah, I think so. My mom died of she had some heart surgeries and then died of some heart-related issues. And my dad, I know he's on some blood pressure meds and he has coronary artery disease,
Okay.
but he's 80. I check in with him every week, make sure things are okay.
That's good. I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
Yeah, that was a few years ago, so I'm more worried about my dad and how he's doing by himself.
How is your dad doing?
Generally, for 80, I think he's doing really well, and, but he is certainly stuck in his ways. So when you suggest changes,
It's a bit hard for
yeah,
him.
he likes his bacon.
That would be a hard change. I'm just going to measure this cup to make sure it's the
Okay.
right size for you. So I'm just going to hold it up to your arm. So now I'm just going to wrap it around your arm. Just making sure I've got the right position. So I'm going to inflate the cuff so it squeezes your arm. It might feel a little bit tight. I'm just going to feel your pulse here as well.
Okay.
This just gives me an idea of where the first number of your blood pressure would be.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to let your arm relax for a little bit here while I get set up. When I take your blood pressure, I'm going to inflate the cuff again.
Okay.
It's going to be a slower deflation though, so your arm might start to feel a little bit tingly by the end of it. If you have any pain or discomfort, please let me know and we can always release the cuff early.
Okay.
I'm sure you've had your blood pressure taken quite a few times.
Quite a lot lately, yes.
Do you know what your last blood pressure was?
It's gone down, so I know my doctor was happy. I think it was like 140 over 90 or something.
Okay.
I have so many numbers that over the while, but
Yeah, it's hard
I
to
know
keep
he was
track.
happy because it was dropping.
Perfect. Well, that's great news. Okay, I'm just going to feel your arm again. Sorry, it's a little bit cold. Sorry about that, my blood pressure cuff just got stuck. I think it cross-threaded. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm going to let your arm relax for a few minutes there. So you said your last blood pressure was around 140 over 90?
Yep.
I'm just going to write that down and make some notes. Perfect. Another thing I would like to look at today after we do the blood pressure is just a waist to hip ratio and do some body mass index calculations.